Good day, everyone. Allow me to present to you my final output in qualitative research. The title of my study is Students' Perspective on Online Education During COVID-19 Pandemic, a Case Study. So to start, let's have the local of the study. The subjects of the study were currently enrolled in this present school year or academic year. One from kindergarten level, one from elementary level, one from junior high school level, one from senior high school level, and one from college level. The subjects of the study were residents of the municipalities of Cuban, Casiguran, and Bulan in the province of Sorsogon. For the introduction, the outbreak of COVID-19 affected all the sectors in different countries all over the world. Sadly, one of the sectors affected is education. Changes in learning system is happening. There are schools implementing the online learning as learning modality. Several studies were conducted in connection with online learning as learning modality during COVID-19 pandemic. Examples are, according to Adnan and Anwar in the year 2020, online learning cannot produce desired results in underdeveloped countries where a vast majority of students are unable to access the internet due to technical as well as monetary issues. Meaning, online education is effective in digitally advanced nations. As mentioned in the work of Adnan and Anwar 2020, it was a reminder of the lack of resources in academic institutions and the social marginalization of students, where insufficient access and availability of the internet and the lack of latest technology affected organizational responsiveness and students' capacity to participate in digital learning. Rasmi Tadila et al. 2020 stated that in online education, the availability of data packages and internet networks and ownership of cellular phones or laptops is an absolute must. They added that there are internal and external factors affecting online education. Internal factors are difficulties arising from the student's home environment, such as interference from family members. These factors cause students who are learning not to be focused on learning. One factor is a less conducive home learning environment in which the activities of family members of students cause distractions that reduce the concentration necessary to understand the subject matter. External factors that arise are the disturbances from other students when implementing learning using an online application in a virtual classroom. Students talk to other students with other topics that are unrelated to the subject matter being studied. Moreover, virtual classes become crowded and less conducive. In the study of Desabayla 2020, high cost of participating in online learning is evident during COVID-19 pandemic. The students spend so much money for internet data. Moreover, the study discovered that the internet connectivity was very slow, resulting the students to find places just to have a good internet connection. As mentioned in the work of TRIA 2020, the Philippines has the lowest internet connectivity in Asia. He also added that implementing online learning would pose such problems on students who have limited internet access, no gadgets, and the poor. So, researchers in different countries infected by COVID-19 are now continuously conducting studies to determine the different effects of online education under new normal. So, the objectives, the researcher of this study aimed to determine students' perspective on online education during COVID-19 pandemic. Specifically, it answered the following questions. 1. What are the learning strategies of students relative to online education? 2. What are the problems encountered by the students on online education? And 3. What are the supports needed by the students on online education? The framework. This study was anchored to online collaborative learning by Linda Harasim that focuses on the facilities of the internet to provide learning environments that foster collaboration and knowledge building. This study was also anchored to learning by doing theory by John Dewey, which means a hands-on approach to learning wherein students must interact with their environment in order to adapt and learn. For the methods, this study employed a case study. The researcher employed convenient sampling of the subjects. The subjects of the study were currently enrolled in this present school year or academic year. One kindergarten pupil, one elementary pupil, one junior high school student, one senior high school student, and one college student. The 5 subjects were residents of Huban, Kasiguran, and Bulan municipalities in the province of Sorsogon. So the gathering of information and data in this study was possible through the use of cell phone in interviewing. The instrument underwent content validation process. Some modifications and revisions were made after considering the comments and suggestions. Results of the study were analyzed by means of thematic analysis. Thematic analysis was applied to identify, evaluate, and make a team based on the answers of the participants. For results and discussions, for number 1 objective, learning strategies of students relative to online education. According to McQuarter 2020, the current COVID-19 pandemic causes all levels of schooling with the challenge of converting face-to-face instruction to online learning. The adoption of technology in learning have had mixed results. One of the results is in learning strategies. Based from the responses of the respondents of this study, they used different applications in learning like YouTube for tutorials, Google Classroom, and other applications needed in their lessons. Moreover, they used Google in searching the different concepts of the lessons. Despite the pandemic, still there are students who eagerly are applying effort to learn, as respondents B and E said respectively. Using internet, it is easy to download materials needed to understand the lessons like in YouTube. I am using Schoology, Google Classroom, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Google Meet in schooling. I also keep searching the internet to read, practice, and solving problems, and I also watching tutorials in YouTube. According to Zaya Pragazarazan 2020, any crisis in a nation will always leave its impact on education. Students' right to education is threatened at times of crisis. As a result, the students need to apply more and more efforts to learn. In online mode of learning, the students are provided with a variety of choices for their learning and allows them to take more responsibility for their own learning. Saya Pragazarasan 2020 added that students used Zoom, Google Classroom, email, YouTube, and other online platforms in learning. Moreover, students formed e-learning circles or groups wherein they interacted with each other to discuss different topics using social media. For the second objective, problems encountered by students on online education. Despite the advancement of technology, still, students encountered problems on online education. Based from the responses of the respondents, they experienced poor internet connection while in the middle of online education, leading to difficulty in understanding the lessons. Moreover, they need to find place just to have stable internet connection. In online learning, persistent and recurrent internet connectivity problems emerged as a salient challenge faced by the students. According to Drede, Radhas Krishnan, Moser Mers, and Dibor in the year 2020. As said by respondent C, poor internet connection is a problem. I need to find a place just to have a stable internet connection. This is true especially to poor countries like the Philippines. In the news posted by ABS-CBN, in Southeast Asia, Philippines has third slowest mobile internet speed, and as of October 2020, Philippines ranks 32nd out of 50 countries in terms of fixed broadband speed. Having poor internet connection in online education will lead to some negative consequences like students cannot fully understand the lesson and students cannot interact well with their classmates and teachers. As concluded by Kati and Bata 2020, poor network and security of internet are some of the challenges in online education. And Q and Ologbenga 2020 proved that shortage of internet bandwidth is one of the challenges in online education. As said by Riemann 2020, technology without equity among all children would not lead to efficient learning and not all can afford e-learning. Furthermore, students need e-load to have internet or mobile data. In other words, financial aspect was also concerned. For the last objective, supports needed by the students on online education. Primarily, the students need financial assistance to sustain online education in supports from the people, like family members, friends, peers, and others. Surrounding them, like for example, in providing e-load and gadgets, in discussion of the topics, and in guiding them in different learning activities. As said by respondent A, I need financial support for internet connection and gadget, and supervision in online learning. According to Rasmi Tadila et al. 2020, involvement of parents, teachers, and the school is a collaborative effort, which can be achieved by creating a community of knowledge to understand online learning practices. Additionally, collaboration of students and people surrounding them is also needed in online education. In the study of Anderson 2008, support and guidance for students are very much needed in online education. It refers to the support systems needed for students to easily make it through the course, meaning the needs of the students in online learning must be addressed. Respondents of this study also added that excellent internet connection is highly needed. As said by respondent D, we need stable internet connection aside from gadgets and money to sustain online education. As said by Sun and Shen 2016, one of the fuels of online education is internet connectivity, meaning if the internet connection is poor, online education is not effective. This is connected in one of the findings of Alipio 2020 that in shifting to e-learning, one of the things to be addressed is internet connectivity. For the conclusions, based on the findings, the following conclusions are drawn. Students who are practicing online education applied learning strategies. They become more independent in learning in spite of some problems encountered. There were problems encountered in online education, primarily internet connection. Furthermore, students need supports from the people surrounding them to sustain online education. Recommendations. The following are the recommendations based on the findings and conclusions of the study. Before the implementation of online education, different factors must be considered, primarily internet connection. Internal and external stakeholders of education must work collaboratively to enhance the effectiveness of online education and to solve the problems encountered by the students in online learning. Successful implementation of online learning into the curriculum requires a well-thought-out strategy or strategic planning, more active approach, and can address to the needs of the students. Additionally, further studies on students' perspective in online education during COVID-19 pandemic using other variables must be done. These were the laws triggered by my study. And these are my references. Thank you very much for listening and viewing my presentation.